bunch of you guys have been asking me for quite a while to record a video that shows essentially what my day-to-day roles looks like and what does like the average day at Gymshark for me look like. I've been toying with the idea of doing this video for a long time, but the problem I found is that no day is the same as another. Like every single day is completely different and very much varied, even being in the office or in the Gymshark headquarters. And that's even more difficult when I'm traveling as much as I am. So for example, tomorrow I'm going to be flying off to Turkey because we've got a bunch of product meetings there, then I'm back for a week, and then it's New York, and then from New York to Dublin for the Dublin event that we're doing. So in a nutshell, no 2 days are the same. So it was really difficult for me to try and record this video to give you guys an accurate representation of what an average day looks like. But what we did is me and Fab recorded for a day, and we thought we'd sit down and then I'd be able to explain to you guys like maybe what the different things I do are and what an average day might look like, if there is such a thing as that. So when I was like 16-ish, I was like obsessed with like making websites and things like that, so I made a bunch of different websites, fitness social networks. I don't really do interviews very often. It's not something, I mean, first and foremost, I'm quite an introverted person. It's not something that I'm particularly good at or enjoy doing. I love meeting the fans and meeting people and chatting to people, but in terms of an interview, I find it quite an odd situation. But no, don't do them too often. I'd much rather do things like this and just record on my own and have more of that direct communication. My job title at Gymshark is Chief Brand Officer. Many of you may have watched my video about talking about how I am not the CEO anymore and I'm the Chief Brand Officer instead, because I think that really allows me to concentrate on the things that I am really good at. So my responsibilities include product design, brand, marketing, events, things like that. Essentially anything that you guys will see, touch or hear at some point will have had an involvement from either myself or the teams that I work with. I feel like I have the best job in the world. I get to do all the fun bits and all the things that fortunately I am really good at. Operations, finance, logistics, things like that. Obviously as an owner, I will have slight involvement with it, more of like an overview and a look at it. On a day-to-day, it's product design, it's brand, it's marketing, it's events, and it's all those sort of things that I can really get my teeth into, get involved in, and you know, I really love to do to push the brand forward. Outside of that, I'll do extra little projects. So we're working with the IT team on a really cool project that should be coming soon, and then just little sort of innovation things that I'll occasionally work with the innovation team on. It's all about the more of the forward-thinking things that I'm now involved in, with that constant sort of eye on what things are happening on a day-to-day basis as well. Obviously I'll be in touch with Steve and Paul all the time to find out how things are going, from very high-level overview views on finance, on operations, on logistics, and trading and things like that. So starting Gymshark, one of the things that I really wanted to do and was really excited for as it started to grow was travel, and I travel more now than I ever thought I would. I think last year I did 55 flights in around a 12-month period, so that's on average more than a flight a week. Obviously it doesn't work out to that because sometimes you might do more and obviously sometimes you do less, but there is a lot of travel included in my role and I absolutely love that. The possibilities are endless. There are so many different things to do all around the world with Gymshark, as now we're sort of heading into our international phase. And then when I'm in the headquarters, generally I'll be either sat with a brand and marketing team or the product team. There will be the once a month board meetings that we'll sit with the board, and I'll be presented by Perrins and the guys with like an overview of the financial situation, but to be honest, the vast majority of that, if not all of it, is managed by Chris, the finance guys, Steve and Paul and people like that. So brand responsibilities. So the brand team is run by Noel, and obviously the marketing team is run by Amy. On a day-to-day, I will be involved in things like the event. So we're currently working on the Dublin event, which is happening at the end of this month. I'm really excited for that. I will get quite heavily involved in the event, so the location and then just sort of like the general planning, because an event is a very difficult thing for us to do. You're tying a lot of different areas in the business together, from the branding, the look, the feel, the athletes, what do we want to achieve, how can we make this the most exciting and cool event ever, the marketing of it so that you guys can see, you know, that the event is happening, the different advertisements that happen. So in Birmingham we dressed up the ball, we had a bunch of like offline advertisements, and then there was a bunch of online advertisements too, so the marketing side of things. And then there's obviously the more trading commercial side, which I'll probably have a less involvement in, which is choosing which product is going to be there, how quickly can we get product there, because often we'll try and bring new pre-release product to an event. One of the specific areas within brand as well, which is really close to my heart, is the athlete team. So I am quite involved with that in terms of like new athletes as well. The athlete team being so important and such an integral part of the Gymshark brand is something that, I mean, since day one I've been involved in it, from the first Skype calls with August and Lovato and Lex and people like that. So every opportunity I get to catch up with the guys and meet people and see them and just, you know, just go out. Like I remember not long ago, flew out to San Francisco and went up to see Lovato and things like that. Like the busier I am, and I feel like I'm busier and busier and busier all the time. There's just so much going on all the time. Like I feel like I get to spend less time with people doing certain things like that. So every opportunity I get, I just jump on it, and I love to do things like that. One more thing as well that I forgot to mention that I do get involved in will be sort of special projects alongside Paul. So this headquarters that we're sat in now was a special project. No one knew about it. It was something that we walked in and we were like, we have to have this place, and then was involved in the design, the look and the feel of that. And as I've said in previous videos, then I wouldn't have been involved in the granular, like the operations, the movement of things and the project itself, but I would have been involved in, I'm brought in at the right time. So Paul brought me in for design, for inspiration. What do you want this to look like? How does this thing feel, essentially? Probably one of my favorite things to get involved in is the design process. I think I'm probably going to do a full video on the creation of a product from the idea to when it's actually, I guess, in your hands. That's something that I'm really, really passionate about and I really enjoy, from picking the colour palettes. I love getting involved in that, and the materials, being able to feel the different fabrics that we've got available, the stretch, the recovery, just how they work, and just love that process of going from an idea of something that we want to create to actually having it in your hand is like one of the things that I enjoy the most about my role here at Gymshark. As we're building products as well, I'll be wearing them all the time, like to make sure that they fit well, that they work well in the gym. So sometimes if you'll see me wearing something new, then it might be because it's a sample. And I need some of these to test. I really like them. Have you got any larges? The other thing that we'll do is we've got, obviously, we can print and we can make t-shirts and stuff like that here, so I'll often just have a unique t-shirt or a tank and wearing it around the office. If people like it, then obviously it'll be made into production. If they don't, then it won't. Cool, I think it's really cool. Why do you like that? Jack, do you like that or not? No. You actually do? You actually do? Should we make it? What? Yeah, I like it. Thought of it then? You made it. So it's really difficult to talk about what each day looks like because it is so different, but I genuinely feel like I've got the best job in the world. And it's funny because the business has changed so much over the last few years, and now we're really in that like internationalization phase. You know, we've just opened up this office, we've just opened up the new one internationally, which will be announcing soon. There is so much going on, and it's funny how my role has changed again. So a day in the life previously would have been so much more varied. It would have been a lot more based in the UK, but it would have been incredibly varied. There would have been a finance bit here, an operations bit here, a people issue here, a brand and marketing and things like that. And the problem that became with that was just the fact that 2/3 of the things that I was doing were things that I'm not particularly talented at, and that's when there was the building of the team to really get the great people in so that really good people can focus on what they're good at, and then we then become the greater than the sum of our parts, because I can focus on what I'm really good at, they can focus on what they're really good at, and then, you know, bouncing ideas off between that team is really, really cool, and it's a really enjoyable experience for me. A lot of people say, like, doesn't it feel crazy that like all this has happened? And it's weird, like if you haven't seen Gymshark for 6 months and then you come back into it and it's like, oh wow, there's a new office, there's 50 more people in the business, it seems crazy, but when you're here every day and you're involved in the, you know, just putting down each brick at a time, then it feels like a slow, more gradual process and a considered process. Then it does make sense, and it's really cool to be a part of, and I'm really, really happy with how everything's going. So hopefully that has given you a little insight into what my day-to-day role is like. Again, I just get involved in the things that I'm really good at, and I'm fortunate enough to have a team around me that is so talented and good at what they do. That really allows me to focus on what I do. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this has helped some of you guys understand more of what I do. Any questions, put them in the comment box down below. The other thing I am recording next is a Q&A. So again, any questions, please comment down below that you want me to answer in the Q&A. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.
I just like the sound of it.